Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary and I'm out at the greenhouse today harvesting my Least Killies. Now these are a species I expected to do quite well because they come from waters, they're U.S. natives. They come from waters that can have quite a wide variability of temperature, and I'm not being disappointed here. Now I showed you yesterday pre-gaming these tubs, and today I've sort of spared you most of the collection. But I'm going through now and just getting all the fish out. I realize that there's a bunch of you that are new to my channel, so welcome. And I just wanted to refresh everyone's memory on sort of what I'm doing out here and why. I've been keeping and breeding small fish for 15 years now, and 10 of those years I've spent with working with fish outdoors. It's a great way to have them eat a really natural diet of water insects. It gives me an opportunity to play with a lot of really cool plants. And this last year we put in this greenhouse, and the greenhouse has allowed me to extend the season that I normally do this. I live in Pennsylvania and things get profoundly cold and profoundly hot here. So with some help from an evaporative cooler, I was able to not only move fish out earlier in the season and keep them out later into the season, but breed them all summer long. And I've been really stoked with the yield that I've gotten. Now this greenhouse was never intended to be all season. Again, it gets profoundly cold here. And even with utilizing natural methods of heating out here, the bin still froze, so I can't keep them running all year without heating the greenhouse. And I don't really want it to be a monetary burden to be able to use my greenhouse. So instead I've focused on making it a 3 full season extended use greenhouse. And it's been super exciting to see how it does. Now I've also learned a whole lot this year, and I'm going to do things differently next year. I'll link you guys to the total playlist from this season, as well as previous seasons, so you can see the differences. Now we'll take a look at these Least Killies, which are a live bearer, in a minute. I'm going to have to let the little container that I'm adding them to settle down. Now most of the fish that I end up bringing inside I will end up selling eventually. This is just a really great way for me to be able to breed fish, have them get really great color, and then be able to offer a really healthy product to my customers, instead of having to perpetuate the cycle of importing and selling fish that could be a bit more stressed than we would like. I saw one, there it is. Some of these babies are teeny tiny. Now the greenhouse was a real learning curve, and some bins definitely went better than others. This top row of bins got really hot. So I think if I'm going to move fish into the top bins next year, I'm going to have to focus on really warm water species. Maybe I'll try some tetras, maybe I'll move out some more typically tropical species, but this year I had moved out a bunch of Danios, and it just seemed like things got too hot on this top row for them. So if I put them in the greenhouse again, I'm going to have to do them either on the lower level or in my yard in my container tubs that I keep there. I do have one bin that basically has no fish, and another bin that I'm suspicious has no fish, and then one left to investigate. But I mean, in the overall scheme of things, it's gone really well, and I'm having a blast collecting all the fish. So I'm going to go ahead and finish collecting these Least Killies, and then we'll take a look at the yield. Now there's a whole bunch in here. A lot of them are creeping down there at the bottom, but you can see that there are some full-size males, some full-size females, and probably about 100 or so fry. So I'm really pleased with that. We'll get them down into the fish room and into some clean water so that we can see them better. But you can see that that entire bottom inch of this container is full of fish that we collected, and that really look pretty darn good. These aren't a species that get particularly colorful. However, they are a species that are exceptionally well suited to very, very small aquariums and super breedable. I'll put a link to their species spotlight as well for you guys in the cards. Now, just to remind you guys as well, the vast majority of these plants, except for some of the floating ones, I will overwinter to reuse again next year. A lot of these will go dormant and regrow again as soon as it gets above freezing. So that'll be part of this series as well. None of this goes to waste. Some of the floaters, like the water hyacinth, are just, they breed or they spread so rapidly it doesn't make sense to try and struggle to overwinter them when they don't do well indoors. But all of the rushes, all of my irises, my sensitive plant, the red root floater, all the water mint, all the various other marginal plants will be overwintered to be reused. And I'll put the water hyacinth into our compost. You can see the wild class endlers we moved in the other day are doing awesome. There's tons and tons of them. I haven't had any issues at all with any of the fish I've moved in. They do really, really well. Again, if I'm moving them in from one of my tubs that is all rainwater, then I move in rainwater and gradually acclimate them back to tap. The fish in the greenhouse are all kept in my tap water, so I can simply move them from out there to indoors and they're completely unfazed. Up next, we still have to collect my pygmy sunfish as well as my meteor minnows, which I hope to achieve this week. And I have to make up some more succulent dirt mix because I have some tropicals I need to move in. And I want to give you guys some updates on some of the various aquariums around the fish room. But as always, I'd like to know what you guys want to see, so let me know. The Least Killies went into an aquarium that I've been using to pre-soak driftwood for my demo at the Catfish Convention this Friday. But you can see they look pretty great. This aquarium does have a fair amount of tannins from that wood, but you can see I just dropped them in here and they're already eating. Final count was 167 fish, which is not bad. And I've made sure that this aquarium has a lot of anubias and it looks like some hornwort and some mosses in here for the teeny tiny babies to hide in, because a lot of the fish that I brought in were super small. Make sure you're subscribed so you can see the updates on all the critters that I've pulled in here. We're going to be prepping my bog garden for cooler weather here in the next month or so. And as always, I want to know what you guys want to see. I also want to do some updates around the fish room, some of the aquariums that you guys already know. As always, thanks for your continued support.